Yo, YouTube, what's good? It's your boy James, back here with another vid. Hope you're doing well, hope you're blessed, hope you're on your purpose. Get into a bag, all that good shit. Y'all seem to be enjoying the pool talk vid, so here we go with a balcony talk vid. But, you know, we want to hop straight into it. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. I appreciate you for giving me your attention on this fine Sunday. But I hope y'all noticing what I'm noticing, or I wonder if y'all are noticing what I am noticing. I think there's a major shift going on right now in the world. I feel like there's been a major shift going on in the world, but I feel like with some of the things that's been happening recently, like this shift is really, you know, accelerating. For example, like specifically, I think this whole idea of mental health and being focused on, you know, our own internal states is becoming a lot more important, and I feel like it's been this way the last like 20 years or so, but like growing increasingly important. But I feel like in the past, like when social media first came out, it was just mental health to say that you was promoting mental health. Like it wasn't no real action behind it. Like it wasn't no following principles and laws and codes of conduct. It was more so, yeah, I support mental health and this and that. But now I'm starting to see people really like taking the principles into action. And I think a lot of this has to do with TikTok. As much as we like to condemn TikTok on this side of the understanding, you know, TikTok I think has been, not even this side of understanding, you know, people like to blame tools. I don't think we should blame tools for you know, certain people's interests, but that's a different story. But I think TikTok has helped a lot because the short form video method plus getting videos that you're not necessarily following the person, but it just pops up in your feed, both of those combined had a lot of information getting presented to people that necessarily wasn't tapped in, and through that information they were able to find new knowledge, find new wisdom, and dive deeper into that information. So I think that was a blessing in disguise, because I'm just starting to see a lot of people you would never think about, you know, but I guess that's life. You know, I'm just getting older too. I'm reflecting. This is the documentary. Appreciate y'all for watching, tapping in. Appreciate all the new subs as well. Next stop 1K, we have 500 subs. But, you know, as people begin to grow in their consciousness, grow in their mental health, grow in their awareness, speaking for myself as well, it just becomes more and more apparent how people need leadership. Leadership is so important. People need role models to follow. I heard this from Tony. Shout out Tony. But, you know, our life is dictated by our role models and our emotions. So if you look at it, you know, who is most young dudes' role models nowadays? It's going to be Lil Uzi Vert, or it's gonna be Drake, or it's gonna be Lil Baby. It's gonna be rappers, athletes, entertainers, right? Not to say that's wrong or anything, not to say that shouldn't be your role model, but you know, I don't think people even consciously think about, this is my role model, or this is the type of person I want to be like. They're just following the model of the world that's been presented to them. But that's, again, a different story. So our life is dictated by our role models and our emotions. So, you know, our ability to understand both of those things and just become aware, and then choose the alternatives that would lead to better results in our life, I think is the whole game. So if that's the whole game, understanding that, you know, the people that I want to be like, they talk about leadership, and it's the ability to inspire people to take action to do the things that's necessary. Because at the end of the day, like I said, you know, the mental health conversation for a while has literally just been a conversation. There was no practicality, emphasis behind it. You know, there was meditation, stuff like this, but I'm seeing businesses being built. I'm seeing people starting to talk about it more. I'm seeing people, you know, taking the social media breaks. I'm seeing more people choosing the organic options. The organic option be going at the store more so than the worst option. So, you know, these things are changing. It's just slow pace, but you know, I think a lot of reason why people go back into their old ways, into their old self, into their old identity is because change is uncomfortable, yes, but also the changes that people make sometimes don't necessarily lead to results that they were expecting based on the role models that they have and not understanding what is truly needed for the human psychology to feel fulfilled and excited about life. Like, you know, a lot of us been painted this image of a role model of a rapper or athlete or entertainer as the quote-unquote model of success, just for the sake of what? Famous and money. Yeah, okay, cool, famous, people know me, whatever. And then rich is like, what's more important? Being famous or what you got famous for? What's important, the money or how you made the money or what you do with the money? Money is just energy. So it's like, you know, all these things, I don't think most people truly sit down and try to tap deep into their own desires and understand why they're desiring a certain thing. And, you know, of course that comes from a lack of knowledge. So this is my manifesto calling out all the leaders of the world. If you have the knowledge, there's a lot of people that's been in the churches, that's been doing the work. This was me talking to myself about 30 minutes ago before I decided, or 10 minutes ago before I decided to make this video. You know, people want to do better, they just don't have the right direction. For a lot of us, we've gone through the trial and error of a self-improvement, raising your consciousness, raising your vibration, becoming the best version of yourself. We've been on that journey for a minute, so it's super, super important for us to start creating products and services and things that can benefit others on their own journey towards the path, and become that light, become that voice of reason, become the person that people could look at and say, okay, this guy seems to be reaping the benefits. Because ultimately, you know, that's how people decide, is the fruit. So, you know, this is why it's so important to practice celibacy. This is why it's so important to get your diet together. This is why it's so important to do all the practices, because the practices will show in the fruits of your labor, and the fruit being the fruits of your spirit. You know, your state of mind. Are you living life in joyous, happy, peaceful state on a day-to-day basis? Are you, and that's the biggest teller, right? I won't even get deeper into other fruits of the spirit or fruits of your labor, of love and joy. But, you know, just understanding that habitual emotional state that you're constantly in is the ultimate fruit of the collective thoughts that you've been thinking your whole life. So, you know, if that state is positive for you watching this video, which it probably is because you're doing the practices, you know, you should feel the burden for your fellow human being that's suffering, that's not having that perpetual state of joy, happiness, and peace, to want to give and share the things that you've learned and received, because ultimately the things that you've received were gifts at a time in your life when you needed them to move past and get to the next stage in your life. So, you know, who are you to take those gifts and not give them back as if they were yours to begin with? You know, that's the beauty of gifts, is they don't come from you. They come from Tony Robbins. They come from Jesus Christ. They come from Ed Milet. They come from Patrick Bet-David. They come from Socrates. They come from all these different figures of history. And then you distill it in your own mental factory, which is your brain that God gifted you with. And then you come up with your own experiences with these truths. And then this manifests in your own reality. And then you adjust based on how that reality is presenting itself back to you, and correcting the things that need to be corrected. So with that being said, if you've gone through that process, shout out to all my leaders out there. If you've gone through the process, you got to be the voice. You got to step up to the plate. Because if you don't, you're going to have regret, knowing that you could. Knowing that whether it's this lifetime or the next, whether it's whatever, you know, at some point you're going to feel like, I could have did more for those around me. And truly that is what gives us the highest sense of joy, fulfillment, and freedom in our lives, is giving the things we have. It not only grows our capacity to get more, but also it grows our capacity to give more in the process. And giving is what humanity is made of. You know, we all give our gifts that were originally given to us by the Creator, to make it a better environment and a better living experience for not only ourselves, but for everyone around us. So I'm noticing that people are desiring that change. They want a better day-to-day living experience. They don't want to just portray. I'm like, oh, this is where the videos get good. They don't want to portray that they live in a positive living experience no more through social media. They not trying to act like it's all good in the hood when it's really not. Because we've done this for 10 years. Like, you gotta think, we've been in this social media era and this information era for about 30 years now. So we've gone through information phase. Oh wow, we can just information at the tap of the button. That decommoditized wisdom. You know, wisdom at some point was a commodity. It was only reserved for the select group. Now, you know, we have a decommoditized version of wisdom through the internet, and we didn't even get into AI yet, but I'm talking about the evolution of the web. Through that process, you know, people were building different products and services to help us connect those things with social media. So now we connected with the whole world, and we decommoditized wisdom. So many great steps and so many great leaps, but still the principles of our tribal nature remain. You know, the nature of wanting to peacock, wanting to show ourselves approved. But the difference between tribes and vibes, this is where the video gets good. The difference between tribes and vibes is, you know, in a tribe situation, your energy is what speaks the loudest versus what you portray. So in this situation, you know, we get validation from things that we put on screens for magic, for fake, for inauthenticity. And that's what we lost. We lost that authenticity. You know, we lost that authenticity through social media because we still wanted to win the game per se. We still wanted to be the head of the tribe, but that being the head of the tribe meant presenting something that wasn't real to capture the attention. That's what the devil likes to do. He likes to capture your attention with magics and tricks and gimmicks and fake shit. But the truth is real and raw and authentic. You know, it's no foo-foo. It's no confusion. It's straight clarity. So through that process, you know, kind of getting deceived over these last 10 years or so through this social media era, you know, seeing all the fake stuff, even achieving some of the fake stuff for yourself potentially. If you haven't, you know, this video is probably not for you. This is more so for the leaders that probably have did a lot of that work. But, you know, if you're getting value, you're getting value. Shout out to you. But, you know, if you've achieved a lot of that stuff or seen the road ahead or heard other people's experiences who have seen the road ahead and gained perspective of what that lifestyle leads to in terms of your state, your emotions, your habitual emotional state, you know, you see what that leads to long term for yourself and the people around you, because relationships is such a huge part of our life too. We won't get into that in this video, but if you've seen what that does, then the conscious person makes the effort to say, okay, if that stuff's not the real, you search for the real, you find the practical truth that really resonates, that really makes a difference in your life. Then the only last obligation to complete that cycle is to share it back, and therefore continues humanity in the right direction. You know, we had to go through these phases. We had to understand this information to get to the point to where now we can be in the point of sharing to our ultimate versions of ourselves. Hope that makes sense. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, comment what you want to see next or any questions you have. Subscribe for more. Catch you in the next video. Peace.